So this is weird. I haven't done a face-to-camera video in like a while. I feel so like uncomfortable. So I've been trying to think of more YouTube videos to do, and a lot of people have requested another Meet My Horses video, and I hadn't even realized that like my old Meet My Horses video is not updated at all. So I figured I'd try to do that. So here we go. I honestly cannot remember what I said in my last video. I don't remember if I touched on horses that I used to have or any of that, but I'm just going to tell you guys that's a spider web. I'm just going to tell you guys about the horses that I have now and all about them and what we do, and kind of give you guys a little bit, that's my boyfriend, he's so cute, of an introduction to them of sorts. Anyway, I have the attention span of a goldfish. This should be fun. Anyway, we'll start with Mr. Foxy. So Foxy's registered name is He's a Foxy Heathen. He is 18 this year. He turned 18 on March 3rd. I actually bought him on his birthday, totally by coincidence, oh gosh, 4 years ago? 5 years ago? What's this year? I think this is year 5 of owning him. I believe so. That's correct. So he is registered paint and pinto, and he is considered a strawberry red roan, I think is on his papers. He stands 15'3", and I originally got him as a, we showed the all-around. So we did the hunt seat, western pleasure, horsemanship, equitation, showmanship, and halter. I showed him, I never showed him any registered shows. I always showed him open shows. He was my first show horse. Just kind of, there's a bumblebee flying around. Anyways, he got me into the whole showing scene. He's literally the kindest horse. Like, you could, I've loped him around backwards and bareback, and he just doesn't care, and he's the kindest horse, just wouldn't hurt a fly. The safest, he's a golden child. And like, I've joked about, you know, wanting to find a little kid to ride him, and like maybe, you know, finding another home for him, just because I feel bad, because he's such a cool kid's horse. Like, I almost kind of feel bad hanging on to him, but my mom's like, no, like, he's our horse, he's not going anywhere, he is permanently retired here, he's not going anywhere. He has his forever home. But like I said, he is 18. I retired him two or 3 years ago, just because his stifles, as he grows older, he's never had great stifles. He's actually pulled them with, when I've, in my ownership, 2 times. I don't know about before that. But, so he doesn't have great stifles to begin with, and then with his age, they got a little bit weaker. He's got a little bit of arthritis going on in the front. So I retired him from the all-around because it just wasn't moving the same, wasn't enjoying shows the same. But this past year, really, we've discovered the working western stuff, and he really enjoys that, and he's really having a lot of fun in that, and we might pop in a show or two, but really we just do it to keep in shape, and we still, you know, ride around totally tactless and just have fun, honestly. Like, he's just such a cool horse. Alright, so that's Foxy, and the next horse that I'm going to introduce to you guys, I guess, is Elliott. Elliott's registered name is HD Vintage Investor. If you've been following me on Instagram, you know my story with Elliott is a little bit intense, and a little bit hard to explain. I probably won't cover all the bases, but basically I purchased Elliott as a 2-year-old, hadn't had anything done with him other than he could like lunge and pick up his feet, stuff like that. Bought him from Pennsylvania, had him hauled down here. It was a 14-hour drive. I live in North Carolina. It was a 14-hour drive. He kicked out all of the guys' windows. It was his first trailer ride. Kicked out all the windows. They had to stop halfway and sedate him. They tried to turn around and return him, and it was a big nightmare. I had no idea it was coming. It was a surprise to me. Anyways, so broke him out, started riding him. His first year or two were great, and then his 4- and 5-year-old year he started having a little trouble, and he stands 16'1". His parents are 14'3", and I believe 16 hands, something around there. But anyways, he is also an appendix, technically. So he got pretty big, much bigger than he was originally expected to, with his dad being 14'3". And so, like I said, his 4- and 5-year-old year, he started having a lot of trouble. We thought it was pain related, but also thought it was behavior related, trying to figure everything out, figure out what's going on, because he's not the horse that has the greatest attitude, so we never really knew if it was pain or if he was just being Elliott. So we went through a lot of things trying to figure everything out, did a lot of different types of therapy, did the MagnaWave, had the chiropractor, different shoeing, all, like, the whole 9 yards, trying to figure everything out. His 5-year-old year, which was last year, we switched trainers, and that did a world of difference for his attitude and all his different issues mentally. But then after he started moving a lot differently, like he should have been moving better with the new trainer, but he was having all these weird issues. Like he wasn't totally sound in the back, but he wasn't lame. It was just something was different. So we had his stifles injected, and then after novice championships, which he did really well in, but he still wasn't moving the same for that show. Right after that show, we had an open show that we were going to go to school for. What was after that? I can't remember what it was supposed to be. I think it was like the Little River Circuit or something like that. And that Thursday, we ended up at the vet school, and he had a complete meltdown in his stall, and it was a PSSM attack, which is a genetic disease. I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know he had it. But anyway, so he had that, and then we took him to the vet school, dropped a ton of money into him that we really did not have, which is mostly the reason I didn't, other than him having medical issues, the biggest reason I didn't show much, very much last year. But anyways, he had x-rays done and everything of that nature to find out that he had a spinal compression in C3. And I kind of explained all this. I feel like I'm repeating myself. I kind of explained all this in my the videos explaining what happened to Elliott. But basically, we did all the treatments that we could. There was nothing. It's not kissing spine, but it's something that cannot be treated and progresses as they get older, and as he grew so big so fast. I mean, he's not a huge horse, but like in comparison to his dad, who's 14'3", you know, his spine and everything just didn't form correctly. But anyway, so after all that, we did all the therapy we could. We thought we had him going good. We thought we had big differences in his movement. The stifle injections helped. I had him on like 20 supplements, not 20, but like a lot. And they were all really helping, so we made the call to go to Congress. And he's the first horse I've ever qualified for World on, and the first horse I ever took to Congress, and the first horse I ever started. So like he's got a special place in my heart, but he has also been the biggest struggle for me mentally and the whole 9 yards. So we took him to Congress with my new trainer, and up there he would school fine, then we'd get in the show pen and he would have a complete meltdown, like almost take other people out. In our equitation pattern, he almost completely lost his mind and killed us both. And it was just the showmanship went well. I just messed up the patterns. But it was very emotionally traumatic for me, and we ended up at that show. I ended up scratching my very last equitation class, because my hunt seat class, we almost took out the girl that ended up winning it. So I was like, probably shouldn't be doing this. He's known for his blow-ups, which lead to very dangerous situations. And a lot of people over the years have accused me of you know, Elliott's blow-ups not being so bad, and I'm making it dramatic. I don't post his blow-ups. I don't let people see that, because it's not something that I want to put out. Now I'm talking about it, but in the moment, it's not exactly something I want to be completely open about, because it's not pretty, you know? But anyway, so we made the decision up at Congress to officially retire him. He was 6, well, now he's 6, but he was 5 last year. 2017, he was 5. And we made the decision to retire him. The insurance wouldn't touch it. The whole, you know, it was just this big, like, everything that could go wrong went wrong. And so we ended up coming home, and, you know, he was done, turned him out. Yes, we can still do showmanship, which he loves showmanship, but at this point, because he's completely turned out to pasture and he can't work anymore, he just can't keep muscle on. He just doesn't look, he's not in show horse shape. And so, you know, I have to kind of balance that with also Diesel, my new horse, does showmanship, so I can't take them both everywhere. So it's just a big thing. And I used to, my vet and I have been talking about it. We tried to keep riding Elliott a little bit to keep him in shape, just trot work, and he's gotten to the point now where he is in so much, not in much pain, but under saddle, that spinal compression is too much of an impact on him to continue riding. So I will likely never ride him again. which is really hard to admit, but you know, it is what it is. But he is very happy out to pasture, and I've gotten a lot of people asking me, will I ever put him down? Which isn't the nicest thing to ask, to be completely honest. Like, it's not really something I want to talk about. But just to cover that base, he is out to pasture and happy until he tells me otherwise. So that's what it is right now. Oh, he also had Lyme disease his 5-year-old year. That's one of the things they found at the vet school. So they treated that, you know, everything, basically everything. So yeah, that's Elliott. Next up we have Diesel. Who is my big bay. He is a quarter horse, technically appendix, but still quarter horse. It's all the same thing. He is 17.2 and his registered name is Iron Eyes. And I purchased him in it was like December 3rd. No, it was before Christmas. It was like December 20th or something like that. But he rolled into my name in January. Kept him in training with my trainer for a month because he was in her barn, so he became available as I was kind of keeping my eye out, and it was just a really great situation. The woman we bought him from is absolutely fantastic, just such a sweet woman. And anyway, so we bought him off out of that barn, kept him in training with my trainer for a month just so I could get used to him because he's such a different ride from Elliott. Elliott is very sensitive and reactive to everything, whereas, like, so you'd have to ride him with your legs off, whereas Diesel is much more comforted by your legs on, and he wants all your aids to be very close contact. So he's just very different from Elliott. So we kept him there for a month. I took lessons every week, got to know him, brought him home in February, and we've been showing a little bit ever since. We had our third official show. I've been like taking him everywhere at school, and this past weekend he won all of his hunt seat classes. He had great equitation patterns. I messed up the patterns, but on his end they were great. He's gaining a lot of confidence in showmanship. We're showing in the equitation, hunt seat, and showmanship, which is the same thing we showed with Elliott. He's just a fantastic horse. He's just a big dummy. Like, he's just, you look at him, he's always got the airplane ears going. I've never seen his ears pinned back. He's just a goofy boy. He's a little, like, you know, he can be like spooky and insecure just like any other green horse. He's 5 years old. I don't know if I mentioned that. But he got a little bit of a late start, and he's just a little green. He's never been shown in the pattern, so we're bringing him along in that. But yeah, he's such a good boy. He's a lot of fun to show. It's a very different feeling because every time I take Elliott to a show, I'd feel very unsafe and worried for who he was going to knock out next. And, you know, I'd go into a class very nervous, and now it's just like, okay, Diesel, let's like not break gate, because he's a big boy, but he's also very lazy and like just like la-di-da. Look at all the birds flying by, and so he's not dangerous at all, and it's such a good change, and a different pace, and it's really teaching me to ride a bunch of different horses. Really cool dude. But last but not least are my two mini mules. I don't even know if I should count them in this, but we basically got them because Diesel needed a friend out in the pasture, and my mom thought that the buddy needed a buddy for when Diesel's not turned out. And so we have two mini mules. Me and my boyfriend call them Kim and Kanye. My parents call them, what do they call them? Fred and Wilma. And we had another name for them too at some point. But we call them Kim and Kanye. But they're a little nervous around people. We haven't gotten to like halter them yet or anything, but the mare will let you pet her a little bit. But they're really, the sounds they make are a little different. But yeah, so I hope that answers questions. If you guys have any questions about any of my horses, feel free to comment, you know, ask me whatever on my Instagram, on here. I try to look at the comments as often as possible, and answer them as quickly as I can, but I don't always see them all. Life does get a little busy. I know I've been slacking uploading, but it's been crazy lately, and trying to get a handle on it all. and I'm probably gonna go take a nap right now and edit this later. But I hope this is a good video. I'm trying to come up with a couple more ideas. I was talking to my boyfriend earlier about doing a boyfriend tag, but like, he rides horses too, so I can't do any of those, like, my boyfriend guesses the price of horse stuff. So I don't really know what to do. So if you guys got any ideas of that, you know, topic, let me know and I'll work on it. I don't know. My next show is, I think it's in a couple weeks. So I've been trying to figure out how to do a show vlog, but it gets so crazy. I end up forgetting, and then I don't have any hands. I can only go shows myself. So I don't know. I'll figure it out one of these days. I don't know what's going on with my camera. Why is it so foggy? Alright. It's time for me to go. Alright, well, I love you guys.